This is Dr. J. Welcome to Thesis in 101, where you work for 8 hours and only have one paragraph to show for it. In the series, we cover tips and tricks to help you on your research journey. If you missed the intro lesson of this series, check out the description box below for the link. If you are interested and you would like to see more videos like this, please give this a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Today's focus is on how to practically apply the golden thread. Let's get right into it. So far, we have spoken about the importance of the golden thread. It's an easy concept to understand, but sitting in front of your laptop trying to apply it, not so much. As a reminder, the golden thread ensures you take the reader from problem to solution by aligning chapters with each other and tying it back to your research title. The first step in doing so is to create a constant reminder of the purpose of your study. The easiest way to do so is to place your title in the footer of your dissertation or thesis. This means it will appear on every page in your document and will always be visible to you as you write. Having this constant reminder will help you stay on topic. The second tip for getting the golden thread right is to perform alignment. To do this, you have to create a criteria for evaluating if you have alignment or not. To create a criteria, you need to have a very clear title. In our example, we will use this one: Towards an understanding of the digital native perception and readiness for a change in primary and secondary school system. Please note that this is an example, and like every other example in my tutorials, it is fictitious. To build your criteria, take your topic and highlight the important parts of it. This will then be used as a checklist you can evaluate your deliverable to. Here is an example. In our background and introduction, we introduce the topic and explain what the research problem is. Our story is that there is a concern that the current school system is not equipped to educate the digital native, i.e. the current generation. The people are in a panic and is calling out for a radical change in our school system. They are saying that the current school system is set up for educating the analog generation and cannot effectively teach the new one that is raised in technology. In our problem statement, we articulate that the motivation for radical change in the school system is based on the public's perception of the problem as opposed to extensive research. Also, the research that has been done is mostly geared towards university students and not on primary and secondary school kids. Furthermore, the studies are not focused on a developing country such as South Africa. So you tell the reader, I believe that before we radically change the school system, perhaps we need to check if the kids in South Africa are considered digital natives, and also perhaps we should establish their preferences for learning. Based on our description of the problem and what we would like to achieve, we create primary and secondary research questions in order for us to address our research problem. So our primary question is: to what extent can the South African primary and secondary school student be classified as digital natives, and are they homogeneous, i.e. are all of them the same? And our secondary question is, what is the primary and secondary school students' learning preference in relation to ICT? Once we are done with our chapter, we evaluate if our problem statement and research question supports our title. Remember the criteria that we created before? This is what we use to begin our evaluation. Did we speak about the digital native? Yes, we did. Did we speak about the school system? Yes, we did. Did we speak about whether kids in school are ready or not for this radical change? Well, we spoke about their learning preferences, but we did not speak about their readiness. By doing this check, we can clearly see that our golden thread, not so golden. Because we are not addressing the issue of readiness, we have to update our chapter. In our example, we can add another secondary question that would address this gap, i.e., what is the knowledge and skill level of the kids in the South African primary and secondary school context regarding the use of technology? Done. The further you get into your thesis, the larger your list for evaluation becomes. Let me show you. Let's include another chapter. Let's make that chapter the lit review. This is where we make our arguments. Our first point is that while we do live in a digitally enabled world, with a huge disparity in socioeconomic classes in South Africa, being a digital native may be more of an elite group than an entire generation, because you need money to access technology and not everybody has money for these types of luxuries. Our second point is access to buy technology is not the same as access to use technology. Parents to a large extent still controls what kids are exposed to. So even if a kid has the tech, it doesn't mean that they get to spend the amount of time on it to make them a digital native as described in literature. Our third point is that there is no guarantee that the skills that students learn from using technology at home is transferable to a school setting. For instance, if a kid uses the internet to find a video of a cat playing a piano, it does not necessarily mean that they can automatically use the internet to find literature on a school-related topic. Similarly to the background and the introduction chapter, we need to check the alignment between the Lit Review chapter and the title. Did we speak about the digital native? Yes, we did. The school system? No, we did not. Did we speak about the readiness of kids? Well, the points on socioeconomics, parental control, and transferable skills all provides arguments that there are contributing factors that could impact readiness, so yes, we did. To address this gap about the school system, we need to add a point that says there is a concern about having a curriculum that is heavily reliant on technology because only a quarter of the schools in South Africa has computers for teaching and learning. Remember when I said your checklist grows? Because we already had a chapter, we need to ensure that the new chapter aligns with the previous. So the second check we need to do is to check the alignment between our Lit Review and our background and introduction. A good checklist to create here is a list of your research questions you created in your first chapter. Did we speak about our concern that there may be factors influencing the digital native status of students? Yes, socioeconomic status and parental control. Did we speak about learning preferences? No, we did not. What about factors influencing knowledge and skills? Yes, we spoke about transferable skills. So we need to make sure that we address learning preferences in our Lit Review. To do so, we can add another point. For instance, it is said that the digital native prefers Nintendo over logic, which means they like to learn from trial and error, i.e. experiential learning as opposed to being instructed. They also prefer to learn by accessing random information instead of being taught sequentially through a standard curriculum. As you may have noticed, there is a pattern in doing the alignment. We check the chapter against the title, then we check the chapter against other existing chapters. If you work systematically, it's not that difficult to weave the golden thread. Of course, this alignment is just part of the golden thread. We have yet to answer the so what of it all, which will be covered in the future tutorials. In summary, create a checklist in order to do your evaluation. Update the checklist when adding new chapters. And of course, make amendments when you notice things are not aligned. That concludes this lesson. The next one is focused on designing your research strategy in order to answer your research questions. Let me know if there are other topics you would like me to cover. Signing off.